shareholder watching this webinar right now, let's imagine that as part of what I'm sharing with you about the performance of the business over the last 12 months, as I get to a point where I say to you, today, as the Managing Director of Sirdar Global Group, I've sacked the entire global board of Sirdar. And I'm now the only director accountable and responsible to you as a group of shareholders. I'm the only director accountable and responsible to you as a group of shareholders. How would you be feeling? How comfortable would you be knowing that you're an investor of a significant amount of money in our company, and I'm the only director accountable and responsible to you for the performance of our enterprise? Let me suggest to you this. Let me suggest to you that you wouldn't be happy. That as an investor in our company, you know that we require a board of directors to be successful. Because you know that as an investor, that's what you expect, and rightly so. Are you the only director of your business? Maybe plus husband, wife, or significant other? Or a business partner that's also a shareholder, a director, and a manager in your company? And if you are, how is that any different to your expectation as a shareholder in my business? That if you're a shareholder in Sirdar Global Group, that you would expect there to be a group of directors accountable and responsible to you as the shareholders. Of course you would. Because you know as an investor that having a board of directors is a critical part of the success of any organisation. So why is it any different in your business? You know, as small business owners, we often say, for some reason, in my business, it's different. We say, the game rules in my business are different. It's my business, so I can run it my way. The reality is, the moment you say that to yourself, you lose the game. And you will never achieve what we call extreme business success. Because governance is a critical part, a critical element of the success of any organisation that over the long term wants to achieve extreme business success. Have you ever heard of a board of director? I'll say that again. Have you ever heard of a board of director? Singular. Or do we only ever talk about this concept called a board of directors? Plural. You know the answer. You know that we only talk about a board of directors. You know that a board of directors is expected in companies that you invest in to ensure that they achieve the results you expect as a shareholder in the long term. So why in your own business don't you have one? Well, I could be making an assumption. You might. But I tell you what, 98% of small and medium enterprises do not have a legitimate board of directors. A board of directors that operates in terms of what governance is actually about. And my challenge to you is to do that. My challenge to you is that to achieve extreme business success, you have to implement governance in your business. Often people say to me, yeah, but Carl, my business is small. I don't need to do it yet. Governance is something you do when you get there. Governance is something you do when you become a large organisation. No, it's not. Governance is something that you do the moment you choose to decide to go for the summit. The moment you choose to achieve extreme business success. If you look at any of the major organisations around the world, look at Microsoft for example. On the day Microsoft was incorporated in 1984, it had more than one shareholder, more than one investor, and a business manager by the name of Steve Ballmer, responsible for the day-to-day management of the company. Look at the Virgin Group and Richard Branson. When they were operating out of a student basement in London, there was more than one shareholder, more than one director, and a business manager appropriate for each part of the business that was operating at the time. Let me put it to you this way. If you choose to climb a mountain, do you put your climbing boots on halfway up the mountain? Or do you put them on the moment you decide to climb? You know the answer. You put them on the moment you decide to climb. In business, it's no different. Governance is something that you do the moment you decide to climb. And I've had the privilege of working with a range of small and medium enterprises around the world to implement governance in their business. Sirdar Global Group, both in South Africa and in New Zealand, and arguably around the world, is recognised as the leader in the implementation of governance in small and medium enterprise. And it's through that implementation of governance in a range of businesses around the world that I've got to understand how governance is so effective, even for small and medium enterprise. There's a lot of academic research done on the ability for governance to change the success of an organisation. Unfortunately though, small and medium businesses don't choose to do it today. And my challenge to you is to choose to understand that governance is a key part of achieving extreme business success. And therefore, if you don't choose to implement it, if you don't take that step, you're never going to reach the summit of your vision in business. looking at some of the businesses that we work with within the Sirdar Group here in South Africa, and the success that they've had from the implementation of governance. You've only got to look at the results they've achieved through the governance process to see why governance is so powerful and impactful for small and medium enterprise. Businesses have everything from improvements in the understanding of their strategy, clarity of their direction, knowing their market because they've been challenged on who their market actually is, understanding their financials, building their capital structure, improving their delivery of product and service to their client base, and building their team. All of these things, all of these actions, all of these outcomes come from the implementation of governance, being challenged about everything that's going on in their business on a day-to-day basis, and understanding that just because they are the owner doesn't necessarily mean they have all the answers. When we talk about wealth dynamics in the next episode, you'll get to see why understanding your natural energy also enables you to understand why in business you don't have all the answers. And you've got to have people around you who come from a different perspective and a different context. And the role of a board of directors is to challenge you about the decisions that you're making as the manager, as the managing director or the chief executive of your business on a day-to-day basis, and to drive you to make effective decisions in the development of your organisation going forward. What I've given you is some insights into why governance is so important for you as an entrepreneur and for you as a small business. It can seem a scary concept and a lot to think about, but it's through understanding it and starting to understand it and engage in learning about it that you improve your knowledge and understanding. You find ways of effectively implementing governance in your own business from day one to enable you to achieve extreme business success and go on a journey towards reaching your summit. I've shared with you some of the key insights, but I want to invite you to learn more, to invest time into understanding what it takes to achieve extreme business success. And for example, if you haven't been to or haven't heard about the Sirdar Business Summit, the most challenging 2.5 days you will ever invest in your own business, make sure you get to our next Sirdar Business Summit, either here in South Africa or around the world. Go to www.sirdargroup.com and register today, because we want to enable you to achieve extreme business success.